The stars looked different from Earth's first space station in the Gamma Quadrant. Commander Ji-ho Kim stood tall by the large window, watching the alien ship approach. His heart beat faster, but his face stayed calm. This was humanity's big moment. First contact with the Varian Conclave. "Sir, they're ready to dock," said Officer Han Su. She stood beside him, her uniform crisp and neat. Ji-ho nodded. "How do I look? Ready to make history?" Han smiled. "Yes, sir. Just remember what we practiced." The human team had studied for months. The Varians were an old race, far more advanced than humans. They had reached out first, detecting Earth's signals. This meeting could open the stars to humanity, or close them forever. "Everyone to the main hall," Ji-ho ordered through his comm device. 6 crew members hurried to their positions, straightening uniforms and checking translation devices. The airlock hissed open. 3 tall figures entered. The Varians moved with strange grace, their bodies covered in pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer. They had no hair, and their eyes, all 4 of them, were milky white with no pupils. Ji-ho stepped forward, hand extended as practiced. "Welcome to Outpost Terra. I am Commander Ji-ho Kim of Earth." He looked directly at the lead Varian, making eye contact as humans naturally do when showing respect. The effect was instant and unexpected. All 3 Varians stiffened. The leader took a step back, its 4 eyes blinking rapidly. Han noticed first. "Commander," she whispered, "something's wrong." But Ji-ho continued with the planned greeting. "We offer friendship and peaceful exchange of knowledge between our worlds." The lead Varian made a strange sound, then spoke through its translator. You stare with such intensity. Is this a threat display?" Ji-ho blinked in confusion. "No, not at all. This is how humans show respect and honesty. By piercing into our being with your gaze." Another Varian asked, its voice higher and clearly distressed. "We had not realized humans were psychically aggressive." Han stepped forward. "I believe we have a cultural misunderstanding. Humans use eye contact as a positive social signal. It shows attention and respect." The Varians conferred among themselves, making soft clicking sounds. The humans waited, unsure what had gone wrong. Finally, the lead Varian spoke again. "In the conclave, and indeed among most advanced species, direct visual focus is reserved for hunting or mating. Civilized beings communicate through thought projection and subtle field modulation." Ji-ho felt cold sweat on his back. Such a simple thing, looking someone in the eye, and it might ruin everything. "We apologize for our mistake," he said, lowering his gaze to the floor. "We meant no offense. We are still learning galactic customs." The Varians seemed to relax slightly. "Perhaps we can continue with adjustments," the leader said. "Though I must report this characteristic to the Coalition Council." The meeting continued for another hour. The humans struggled to avoid eye contact, which felt deeply unnatural to them. The Varians seemed equally uncomfortable, clearly not expecting such a fundamental difference. As the aliens prepared to leave, the lead Varian approached Ji-ho privately. "Commander, you should know. Many species will find your human gaze disturbing. Some may even see it as a challenge. The Coalition has not encountered a species with your visual communication patterns before." Ji-ho nodded, careful to look at the wall behind the Varian. "We will adapt." "Perhaps," the Varian said, "but I wonder if the galaxy will adapt to you." After the ship departed, Han joined Ji-ho at the window. "That could have gone better," she said. Ji-ho watched the Varian ship disappear among the stars. "Or it could have gone worse. But one thing is clear, we're more alien to them than we expected." "What now, sir?" "Now, we prepare. Something tells me our eyes just opened a very interesting door." News traveled fast in space. 1 week after the first meeting with humans, the Coalition of Sentient Species called an emergency session. Over 50 alien races sent representatives to the great circular hall on Nexus Station. Ambassador Daesung sat alone at the human table. He was Earth's first official representative to the coalition. Today, he felt the weight of humanity on his shoulders. "The Council recognizes Earth," announced the chair being, a tall Varian with decorated skin. Daesung stood and bowed slightly. He kept his eyes down, as he had been warned to do. "We thank the coalition for accepting our request to join," he said carefully. "Earth looks forward to peaceful exchange with all species." A low murmur filled the room. The word "looks" had caused a stir. The chair being raised a hand for quiet. "Ambassador, we must address concerns about human behavior. Reports from First Contact describe a disturbing tendency among your kind." Daesung nodded. "You mean our eye contact?" "Yes. Direct visual targeting is considered a threat in most civilized cultures. It suggests predatory intent or inappropriate intimacy." Daesung's aide, Yuna Lee, passed him a note. He read it quickly, then spoke again. "On Earth, eye contact means the opposite. It shows respect, honesty, and attention. A person who won't look you in the eye is considered untrustworthy." The hall erupted with sounds of shock and disbelief. A small green representative jumped onto the table. They admitted freely. "Their trustworthy members are those who display aggression. Humans must be contained before they spread." Daesung felt sweat on his forehead. This was going badly. "You misunderstand," he said. "For humans, eyes are windows to emotions, not weapons. We read tiny muscle movements around the eyes to understand feelings. It's how we connect." The room quieted slightly. A tall, thin being with skin like tree bark approached the center floor. "I am Scientist Elder Kex of the Balorians," it said. "We have studied many species. This human trait is unusual but not threatening. It means they evolved differently than most coalition races." Yuna whispered to Daesung, "This is good. The Balorians are respected scientists." Kex continued, "Most coalition species evolved from prey animals or hive species, where direct eye contact meant danger. Humans clearly evolved as pack hunters, using visual signals to coordinate." A new voice joined in. "And that is precisely why they are dangerous." The speaker was a Draxian war chief, his red scales gleaming under the lights. "Pack hunters. Their instincts are to stalk, surround, and kill. Their friendly gaze is just the look of a predator." Daesung stood straighter. "With respect, we come in peace. Humans have moved beyond our evolutionary past, just as all intelligent species have." Yuna tugged at his sleeve and whispered, "We should offer a compromise." Daesung nodded and addressed the hall again. "Earth is willing to train our representatives in coalition customs. We can learn to limit eye contact in formal settings." This caused another stir, but of a different kind. A Varian elder approached the center. "You claim you can simply change your instinctual behavior at will." The elder sounded both doubtful and concerned. "Yes," said Daesung. "Humans adapt. It's how we survived on Earth." The hall went silent. Then, slowly, whispers spread through the room. The chair being consulted with others, then turned to Daesung. "This ability to override instinct is concerning. It suggests humans can hide their true nature." Daesung realized his offer had somehow made things worse. He looked at Yuna, careful not to meet her eyes directly. "We're scaring them more, aren't we?" he whispered. Yuna nodded slightly. "Everything we say makes us sound more dangerous, not less." The chairbang's voice rose over the growing noise. "The council will recess to consider the human question. Ambassador Daesung, please remain available." As the aliens filed out, Daesung sat heavily in his chair. "I never thought our eyes would cause such trouble," he said quietly. Yuna looked at the empty hall. "Sir, I think we just discovered that humans are far more alien than we realized." Captain Min Park of the human trading ship Star Wanderer was drinking coffee when the alarm sounded. He rushed to the bridge, mug still in hand. "Report," he ordered, sliding into his chair. "Distress call from a coalition transport," said Ta, his first officer. "They're under attack by Krell pirates." Min set his mug down. "Show me." The screen lit up. A large passenger ship drifted in space, while 3 smaller, spiky vessels circled it like wolves. "Are there any coalition patrol ships nearby?" Min asked. "No, sir. We're the only vessel in range," Tai replied. Min frowned. The Star Wanderer was a trading ship, not a warship. But they couldn't just watch people die. "How long until we reach them?" he asked. 20 minutes at top speed." Min looked his crew in the eyes, one by one. They were young, mostly new to space. But they were also human, with all that meant. "We're going in," he said simply. "Battle stations." The crew moved quickly, preparing the ship. They had only 2 small guns, but surprise might help. "Sir," called June from the science station. "I'm detecting a strange energy field around the transport ship." "What kind of field?" Min asked. "It's blocking psychic signals. The coalition ships rely on telepathy for crew communication. They must be in chaos right now." Min nodded slowly. "So the pirates are using a dampening field." "Clever. The coalition crew can't coordinate their defense." "But we're not affected," said Todd with a small smile. "Humans don't need telepathy." Min returned the smile. "Exactly. And that's our advantage." As they approached, Min outlined his plan. The Star Wanderer would pretend to be damaged, drifting toward the battle zone. Once close enough, they would fire at the pirate ship's engines, then evacuate the coalition transport. "Remember," Min told his crew, "we'll rely on visual and verbal signals. Watch each other. Make eye contact. The pirates won't expect that." The plan worked at first. The Star Wanderer drifted closer, looking harmless. Then, on Min's hand signal, they fired their guns at the first pirate ship. Direct hit. 1 pirate vessel spun away, trailing smoke. But the other 2 ships turned quickly, firing back. The Star Wanderer shook violently. "Damage report." Min shouted over the noise. "Engine room hit." June called back. "Comms are down." Min looked at his crew. Without ship-wide communications, they needed a new plan. He caught Ta's eye and made a series of quick hand gestures. An old Earth military code. Ta nodded once and moved to the weapons console. He understood perfectly. The rest of the crew watched their captain and first officer. They could see exactly what was needed by following their gaze and gestures. No words were required. The Star Wanderer made a sudden, sharp turn and accelerated toward the largest pirate ship. At exactly the right moment, they fired both guns and veered away. The pirate ship's main engine exploded. The last pirate vessel quickly retreated, leaving the battlefield. Min ordered his ship alongside the coalition transport. He led the rescue team himself, boarding the alien vessel. Inside, the coalition crew was in disarray. Without their telepathy, they struggled to work together. Many looked at the humans with new understanding as Min's crew efficiently organized the evacuation. A tall Varian approached Min. "You coordinated your attack without psychic connection," it said, voice filled with wonder. "How?" Min glanced back at his crew. They worked smoothly together, communicating with looks, nods, and hand signals. "We used our eyes," Min said simply. The Varian was silent for a moment. "Perhaps we have underestimated the value of looking." Min nodded. Sometimes old ways are still useful, even in space. As they helped the injured aliens, Min knew something important had just changed. The humans had shown their worth by simply being human. The Great Hall of the Coalition Military Council was silent. 12 alien leaders sat around a large table, their faces showing worry. Above them, screens showed the recent pirate attack. General Neyung stood alone in the center of the room. She wore her Earth Defense Force uniform with pride. 3 medals shone on her chest. The pirates knew exactly what they were doing, she explained. Their psychic dampening field disabled your ships completely. A large red-scaled Draxian leaned forward. And yet the human ship worked perfectly. How? Naeun clasped her hands behind her back. Because humans don't need telepathy to fight effectively. She walked to a small table and picked up a helmet. With your permission, I will show you. The council leader, a tall Varian, nodded once. Naeun put on the helmet. A screen lit up, showing what she saw through its visor. Then she made a series of hand signals. These are military hand signs, she explained. Silent communication for battlefield conditions. She removed the helmet and continued. Humans developed many ways to communicate without speaking. We use body positions, facial expressions, and eye movement. Eye movement again, muttered one council member. Always back to their staring. Naeun smiled slightly. Yes, our eyes are central to how we connect. A squad leader can direct an entire team with just a look and a nod. She tapped a control and a new video played. It showed human soldiers moving through a training course. They barely spoke, yet worked in perfect coordination. Notice how they check each other's faces constantly, Naeun pointed out. They're reading tiny expressions that tell them what others are thinking. The council watched with growing interest. A blue-skinned alien with 4 arms spoke up. I find this disturbing, yet impressive. These skills would be valuable against enemies using psychic blockers. Exactly, Naeun said. The pirate attack proves this. While telepathic races are vulnerable to such weapons, humans are not affected at all. The council members talked among themselves in low voices. Finally, the leader turned to Naeun. What are you suggesting, General? A joint defense program, Naeun said clearly. Human soldiers working alongside coalition forces. We can teach our methods to your troops, adding a layer of protection when telepathy fails. A tall, thin alien with bark-like skin stood up. You expect us to let humans train our forces, to look into our eyes, and teach us to be like you. Naeun met his gaze directly. I expect us to learn from each other. We need your advanced technology. You need our ancient skills. The room went quiet again. The council leader studied Naeun carefully. There is wisdom in your words, the leader admitted finally. But many will resist working with humans. Your ways are uncomfortable for us. Vice Admiral Jinwoo, who had been standing quietly at the back of the room, stepped forward. Discomfort is better than defeat, he said simply. The pirates will attack again. Next time, they might target something more important than a transport ship. The council couldn't argue with this. After more discussion, they agreed to a small test program. One human team would train with coalition forces. As Naeun and Jinwoo left the council chamber, she spoke quietly. They're still afraid of us. Jinwoo nodded. Yes, but now, they're more afraid of their enemies. Naeun smiled slightly. Fear makes strange allies. So does respect, Jinwoo replied. And are starting to respect what humans can do. Naeun looked out at the stars through a large window. It's just the beginning. Wait until they learn what else humans can offer. One step at a time, Jinwoo said. First, we teach them to look each other in the eye. The Coalition Science Academy was the largest building on Nexus Station. Its halls were filled with the brightest minds from 50 different worlds. Today, they all gathered to hear Dr. Hyun-soo speak. Hyun checked her notes one last time. As Earth's leading expert on human communication, she had been invited to explain how humans used visual cues. It was a big honor and an even bigger responsibility. Ready? Asked her assistant, Dr. Kang, who stood nearby with their equipment. Hyun nodded. As ready as I'll ever be. They walked onto the stage together. Hundreds of alien scientists watched them with various types of eyes, sensing organs, and data collectors. Hyun took a deep breath and began. Thank you for inviting us, she said clearly. Today we will show you how human communication works at its most basic level. She activated the first slide, showing a human mother looking at her baby. It begins at birth, Hyun explained. Human babies are born seeking faces. They prefer to look at eyes over any other shape. She showed a video of a newborn baby staring intently at its mother. The baby and mother create a bond through mutual gaze. This shapes the baby's brain, building neural connections that will last a lifetime. Many aliens leaned forward with interest. A Balorian scientist raised a branch-like limb to ask a question. So humans are programmed from birth to stare at each other. This is not a choice. Correct, Hyun answered. It is built into our development. Without this early eye contact, human children show developmental problems. This caused excited chatter among the audience. Hyun continued, showing brain scans of humans looking at different faces. When humans make eye contact, specific brain regions activate. We read tiny muscle movements around the eyes to understand emotions. A slight narrowing of eyes, a small wrinkle. These tell us what another person is feeling. Dr. Kang stepped forward. We would like to demonstrate with volunteers. 2 alien scientists joined them on stage, a Varian and a Draxian. Kang showed them pictures of human facial expressions and asked them to identify the emotions. They failed completely. What seemed obvious to humans was invisible to aliens. Now watch this, Hyun said. She showed a video of human children playing a game without speaking. Using only faces and gestures, they organized themselves into teams and started playing. No words were exchanged, she pointed out. Yet every child understood what to do based on looks, nods, and eye contact. The alien audience was fascinated. The small floating being moved closer to the stage. Doctor, it said through a translator, are you suggesting that humans have a form of telepathy based on visual cues? Hyun smiled. In a way, yes. We read each other's minds through our faces. This caused the biggest reaction yet. The idea that primitive eye contact could be as effective as telepathy was revolutionary to many aliens. An older Varian scientist spoke next. Our species evolved beyond physical signals millions of years ago. We considered it an advancement to communicate directly mind to mind. Evolution takes many paths, Hyun replied. Humans kept our visual system because it works well for us. Kang activated the final presentation, a comparison of telepathic and visual communication. The data showed something surprising. Human visual communication carried emotional nuances that telepathy sometimes missed. When you connect mind to mind, Hyun explained, you share clear thoughts. But when humans connect eye to eye, we share feelings that are hard to put into words. The alien scientists talked excitedly among themselves. Many had never considered that their advanced telepathy might have limitations. As the session ended, the head of the academy approached Hyun. Your presentation has given us much to consider, the alien said. Perhaps in our rush to evolve beyond physical forms, we have lost something valuable. Hyun smiled. Different is not always better or worse, just different. The alien nodded slowly. Indeed, and perhaps the galaxy needs both our ways after all. 6 months had passed since first contact. Now, the real test would begin. The Coalition and Earth had agreed to an exchange program. 1 human would live on the Varian homeworld, while 1 Varian would live on Earth. Sung Ho packed the last of his clothes. As an anthropologist, he had studied many human cultures. Now he would study an alien one by living it. Are you sure about this? His mother asked, helping him close his bag. A whole year without anyone looking you in the eye. Sung Ho smiled. That's exactly why I need to go. To learn how they connect without what we take for granted. Across the galaxy, Yoona Lee prepared a small apartment in Seoul for her guest. Tella, a young Varian diplomat, would be her responsibility for the next year. Is the light dim enough? Yoona asked the coalition advisor who inspected the apartment. Yes, the advisor said. And remember, no sudden movements toward her eyes. It triggers fear responses. Yoona nodded. I've been practicing looking at shoulders instead of faces. 2 days later, Sung-ho arrived on Varia. The planet was beautiful, with tall purple trees and 3 small moons visible even in daylight. His host, Elder Mala, met him at the spaceport. "Welcome to our world," Mala said. "We have prepared for your unique needs." Sung-ho bowed slightly, keeping his eyes down. "Thank you for having me." Mala led him to a floating platform that took them to the city. The buildings were rounded and smooth, with no corners anywhere. Varians moved with flowing steps, never looking directly at each other. Sung-ho's new home was a round room with soft light. "This will be your space," Mala explained. "When you need to make eye contact, you may do so here in private." "Make eye contact? With whom?" Sung-ho asked, confused. "With yourself," Mala said. "We understand humans need visual connection for mental health. We have provided mirrors." Sung-ho didn't know whether to laugh or cry. They thought he needed to stare at himself to stay sane. On Earth, Yuna was having her own challenges with Taylor. They sat in Yuna's living room, trying to have a simple conversation. "Would you like more tea?" Yuna asked, carefully looking at Tella's shoulder. "Yes, thank you," Tella replied. Her voice sounded strained. "Is everything okay?" Yuna asked. Tella hesitated. "Your world is overwhelming. Everywhere I go, humans look at each other so intensely. Even when they try not to look at me, I feel their eyes wanting to." Yuna poured the tea slowly. "I'm sorry. We're trying our best." "I know," Tella said, "but do you understand how it feels? Imagine if everyone you met tried to touch your thoughts without permission." Yuna considered this. That does sound frightening. Back on Varia, Sung-ho was having his first meal with a Varian family. They sat in a circle, food in the center. No one spoke. Instead, they seemed to share thoughts silently. After 10 minutes of awkward silence, Sung-ho couldn't stand it anymore. "Should I say something?" he asked Mala. The entire family jumped in surprise. "Oh, we forgot you cannot join the meal sharing," Mala said. "We are exchanging thoughts about our day. It is how we connect during meals." Sung-ho felt suddenly very alone. "I see. On Earth, we connect by talking and looking at each other while we eat." A young Varian tilted her head. "That sounds inefficient." "Maybe," Sung-ho admitted, "but it's how we show we care." That night, Sung-ho wrote in his journal, "Day 1. I've never felt so blind. They connect in ways I cannot see or feel. They think I'm disabled because I need eyes to understand others. Maybe here, I am." On Earth, Tella wrote in her own journal, "Humans surround me, always watching, always expressing. It's exhausting, yet fascinating. They speak as much with their eyes as with their words. I wonder what they see when they look at me." The exchange had begun, and both sides were already learning how truly alien they were to each other. The emergency alarm woke Jai-ho from a deep sleep. He jumped out of bed and rushed to the command center of Earth's space station. Red lights flashed everywhere. "What's happening?" he asked the officer on duty. "Sir, Ambassador Dae-sung's ship was attacked an hour ago," the young woman replied. "The coalition just informed us. He and his staff have been taken." Jai-ho felt cold fear in his stomach. Taken by whom? A group called the Purity Front. They're coalition extremists who think humans are dangerous to galactic peace. Jai-ho called an emergency meeting. His top officers gathered quickly, their faces showing worry. "The Purity Front has taken our people to their base on Moon Kaba," Jai-ho explained. "They're demanding all humans leave coalition space immediately." "What about the coalition government?" asked Han-su. "Will they help us?" Jai-ho shook his head. "They're divided. Some want to help, but others secretly agree with the Purity Front. So we're on our own," Han said quietly. "Not completely," Jai-ho replied. "We have friends now, but we need a rescue plan." Far away, on Moon Kaba, Ambassador Daesung sat in a cold cell with 5 other humans. They had been captured during what was supposed to be a peaceful meeting. "What do they want with us?" asked Kim, a young translator. "They want to prove humans are a threat," Daesung answered. "And they're going to use telepathic interrogation to do it." The others looked worried. Telepathic interrogation was when powerful mind readers forced their way into someone's thoughts. No coalition species could resist it. "But we're not telepathic," said Park, an older diplomatic officer. "How can we defend against it?" Daesung remembered something from his talks with Yuna. "Maybe we can." Yuna mentioned that human eye contact creates a kind of mental static that can disrupt telepathy. The cell door opened. 3 tall Varians entered, along with 2 Draxians. "Ambassador Daesung," said the lead Varian, "you will come with us now. We will show the coalition the true nature of humans." They took Daesung to a round room with bright lights. They made him sit in a special chair that held his body still, but left his head free. "We will now enter your mind," said the Varian. "Do not resist. It will only cause pain." Daesung felt sudden pressure in his head. They were trying to break into his thoughts. He remembered what he had told the others. Eye contact might create interference. He forced himself to stare directly at his captors, focusing on their eyes with all his might. The Varian flinched. "He is blocking us," one of them said with surprise. "How is this possible?" "Try harder," ordered their leader. The pressure in Daesung's head grew worse. It felt like his skull might break. But he kept staring, kept focusing his thoughts on his captor's eyes. Meanwhile, Jiho led a small rescue team toward Moonkaba. They had 1 small ship and limited weapons. But they also had a plan. "Remember," Jiho told his team, "when we face the telepaths, use what Yuna taught us. Focus on their eyes. Think about looking into their minds instead of them looking into yours." Han nodded, like a mirror reflecting back at them. "Exactly," said Jiho. "They don't expect us to fight back this way." On the moon, Daesung was reaching his limits. His head hurt terribly. But he noticed something strange. The Varians seemed to be struggling too. "This is impossible," one of them gasped. "His visual focus is creating feedback in our connection. I can see his thoughts about seeing us." The lead interrogator stepped back. "Enough. Sedate him." But before they could move, alarms began to sound. "We have intruders." A guard called through the door. "Humans." Daesung smiled through his pain. Help had arrived. And now the coalition would learn something new about humans. They never left their people behind. Outside the base, Jiho's team moved forward. "Eyes up, everyone," he ordered. "Show them what human eye contact can really do." The rescue was successful. Jiho's team had freed all the human captives with minimal fighting. Now, 1 week later, the Coalition Science Council called an emergency meeting on Nexus Station. Dr. Hyun-soo stood before the largest gathering of alien scientists ever assembled. The events on Moonkaba had changed everything. Now the council wanted answers. "We need to understand what happened during the interrogation," said the chief scientist, a tall Balorian. "How did humans resist telepathic scanning?" Hyun looked at the data floating in the air before her. "We've been studying this since the incident. What we found surprised even us." She activated a large display showing brain scans of both humans and Varians. "Humans devote nearly 30% of our brain to visual processing," she explained. "That's more than almost any coalition species." She pointed to specific areas of the human brain lit up in bright colors. When humans make direct eye contact while focusing on blocking mental intrusion, these areas create a unique pattern of neural activity. The alien scientists leaned forward with interest. "This pattern generates what you might call mental noise that interferes with telepathic connections," Him continued. "It's not a conscious ability. It's simply how our brains work." "Are you suggesting humans evolved a natural defense against telepathy?" asked a Draxian scientist. "That's impossible. Your species evolved without exposure to telepathic races. Jai-Ho, who stood at the back of the room, stepped forward, not against telepathy specifically, but perhaps against something similar. The room went quiet as Jai-Ho joined Hyun on the platform. Humans evolved as both predators and prey, he said. We needed to hide our intentions sometimes and read others' intentions at other times. Our ancestors who could control their thoughts during eye contact had an advantage. A Varian elder spoke next. This is deeply concerning. It means humans can resist our most reliable method of determining truth and intention. No, said Hyun firmly. It means we communicate differently, not that we hide the truth. The same brain structures that can block telepathic intrusion also make us honest in our own way. She showed a new set of images, humans talking face to face. We can lie with words easily, but our eyes, our faces, these are much harder to control. Other humans can see lies in our expressions. Sung-ho, who had returned from Varia for the meeting, joined them on stage. During my time on Varia, I learned that telepathic races have their own blind spots, he said. They can share thoughts clearly, but emotions are harder to transmit. Humans evolved to read feelings through faces and eyes. The council members talked among themselves. Finally, the chief scientist spoke again. What you describe suggests neither method is superior. They are simply different evolutionary paths. Exactly, said Hyun. And there's more. Our tests show that human visual processing and your telepathy can actually work together in interesting ways. She showed the final results. Brain scans of humans and Varians working in pairs. When they combined verbal, visual, and telepathic communication, they solved problems faster than either species alone. The human brain creates patterns that can strengthen certain types of telepathic connections, not just block them, Hyun explained. We've only begun to understand the possibilities. As the meeting ended, Ambassador Dae-sung met with the Coalition High Council. They had reached a new understanding. We've been afraid of your eye contact because we didn't understand it, the council leader admitted. Now we see it as neither a threat nor primitive. It is simply your way of connecting. Dae-sung smiled. And we've learned that looking away isn't always a sign of dishonesty. For your people, it's a sign of respect. Perhaps the greatest wisdom, said the council leader, is recognizing that different does not mean better or worse. I'll look to that, said Dae-sung, then laughed at his own joke. After a moment, the council leader joined him. 1 year had passed since the first Varian ship approached Earth's space station. Now representatives from 50 alien worlds gathered on Nexus Station for a historic summit. Today, humans would officially join the coalition of sentient species. Commander Jai-Ho Kim stood by the large window in his quarters, straightening his formal uniform. So much had changed in just 1 year. Ready, sir? Asked Han-Soo, now his official second in command. Almost, Jai-Ho replied. Hard to believe we're here because of a misunderstanding about eye contact. Han smiled. Sometimes the smallest things make the biggest difference. In another room, Ambassador Dae-sung reviewed his speech with Yuna Lee. Too formal? He asked after reading it aloud. No, it's perfect, Yuna assured him. Just remember to alternate between looking at them and looking away. The compromise we practiced. Dae-sung nodded. After months of cultural exchange, both humans and aliens had learned to adapt. Humans now knew when to avoid eye contact out of respect, and some coalition species had begun practicing direct gazing in limited situations. The Great Hall was filled to capacity. Beings of all shapes and sizes waited as the Coalition Supreme Council entered. Among them, for the first time, walked 2 humans, Dr. Hyun-Soo and General Maedong. The Supreme Consul, a Varian of great age and wisdom, approached the center platform. Today marks a new chapter in galactic history, the consul announced. Earth joins our community not just as another member, but as a valuable ally who brings unique perspectives. The consul gestured to Jai-Ho, inviting him to the platform. This itself was historic, a military commander being honored alongside diplomats and scientists. Jai-Ho walked forward, feeling the eyes of the galaxy upon him. He stopped before the consul and bowed slightly. "Commander Jai-Ho Kim," said the consul, "your actions during the crisis showed both courage and wisdom. The coalition honors you today." Then something unexpected happened. The consul looked directly into Jai-Ho's eyes. A collective gasp went through the hall. For a Varian Supreme Consul to make direct eye contact was unprecedented. "I see you, Commander," the consul said simply. Jai-Ho held the gaze, understanding the significance. "And I see you, Consul." After the ceremony, humans and aliens mingled more comfortably than ever before. In one corner, Sung-Ho chatted with his former host family from Varia. He still looked at their shoulders instead of their eyes, but now it felt natural, not forced. "Will you visit us again?" asked the young Varian he had come to think of as a sister. "Definitely," Sung-Ho promised. "And next time, I'll be better at meal-sharing thoughts." She made a sound like gentle laughter. "And I will practice your way of talking while eating." Though it still seems strange to do both at once. Across the room, Captain Min Park of the Star Wanderer spoke with coalition military leaders about joint training exercises. Ever since the rescue mission, his crew had been teaching alien forces how to function when telepathy was blocked. "The key is to establish multiple backup communication systems," Min explained. "Visual, verbal, and written. Redundancy saves lives." As the event came to a close, Jai-Ho found himself alone with the Supreme Consul in a quiet side room. "There is something I must ask you," the consul said. "When your people look into our eyes, what do you truly see?" Jai-Ho thought carefully before answering. "We see someone different from us, yet the same in all the ways that matter. We see a person with hopes, fears, and dreams. We see a possible friend." The consul was silent for a moment. "For millions of years, my people avoided looking at each other this way. We thought we had evolved beyond it. Now I wonder if we lost something valuable in the process." "Perhaps," Jai-Ho suggested, "the ideal is not to evolve beyond something, but to evolve toward balance. Your telepathy and our visual connection both have strengths and weaknesses." The consul made a gesture of agreement. "Wisdom indeed. Perhaps that is why the universe brought our peoples together." As Jai-Ho left the summit, he looked out at the stars. A year ago, humans were newcomers, seen as strange and potentially threatening because of how they looked at others. Now that same human gaze was recognized as something valuable, a different, but equally valid way of connecting with the universe. Humans were here to stay. And yes, they were making eye contact.